Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I was actually gonna review some stuff, and I might answer your question just reviewing. I was gonna talk about getting things fully defined because it does seem like a few people have had some trouble getting everything fully defined. And I will say when I have gotten your assignments and I open them, um, I'm usually able to go in and fully define everything that you've turned in. I've tried with most of your assignments that you've turned in. I've tried going in and getting everything fully defined, and I'm able to. So I think there's a couple of things that could be happening. One is, so let's just do a sketch real quick. Um, um, yeah, so pretty much, we haven't really covered assemblies very thoroughly, and we won't um, quite yet. We're gonna do that this quarter, but there's a few other things I want to cover first. So, um, with assemblies, you do have to have it fully defined in terms of like how the parts fit together. So, like if you have two parts, you have to mate them a certain way when you assemble them. So, like say you have a ball and a socket, right? And you can mate the ball with the socket, but you don't necessarily define which direction the ball is facing, so it can still rotate within the socket. So that's not technically fully defined. The terminology is a little different, but sometimes you want that, right? Like you want it to move. You want 2 points to match up. So like you want 1 point on the ball to match up with 1 point in the socket so that the ball can still move around that point. Um, so it depends. I mean, assemblies are a different. They're kind of a different ball of wax, um, but if you have a bunch of drawings, um, so you have like multiple sketches within a part, right, and then multiple parts within an assembly. So you can have a whole bunch of sketches in one part, and some of them can be fully defined and others not. The part itself, like the features themselves, will always be defined because you can't really make a feature without fully defining it. Um, so the parts of the, of the, or the, sorry, the sketches within the part, some of them may be fully defined and others may not. It is really important to make sure they all are, but you can technically make a part with sketches that aren't fully defined. So there's a couple of things. So you're talking about this little minus sign. You can see on my screen here in this sketch one. That little minus sign, as you know, means that it's underdefined. It also is going to say, if you're in that sketch, if you're editing that sketch, it's going to say underdefined in the lower right corner here. I'll move my face there. It's going to say underdefined right here. Once it's fully defined, it's going to say fully defined right there. So I'll dimension this real quick, and you'll see um, it's going to say fully defined. And if it doesn't say fully defined here, that means there's something you need to modify in here. Um, Whether or not you think you got everything, if all the lines are black, it still means there's something in here, and unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to find what that thing is. Sometimes, if you like are zoomed out here, you won't see it, but if you like zoom in, you'll see, oh, in this corner there's a little segment of line that's blue. Um, so it can be kind of a pain, but it is what it is. One thing that is really important is being tidy in your initial drawing. So like say like I did this I'll just do something. So say I want to make a rectangle, right? And I just use the line tool, and then I go like this, and then I go like this, and then I go, oh, oops, and I click again, and then I click over here. So then when I go to dimension it, I'm going to end up with an underdefined sketch, even though I did the same thing I did on this rectangle here. And that's because, one, I used the line tool instead of the rectangle tool, and sometimes you might not have all the relations that you would have if you use the rectangle tool. Like this and this might not be equal, the top and bottom, or the sides might not be equal, or they might not be vertical, or the top and bottom might not be horizontal. The other thing too is, again, like when you make a mistake like this, where you have two segments of line here. Sorry, hang on. Excuse me. Still getting over this cough. You have these two segments of line here, and that's gonna cause problems for you down the road. Because like, say you keep dimensioning, and you're like, okay, so what's missing now? Well, that's gonna make it over-defined. What if I dimension this? Okay, for some reason, that's not grabbing the whole line, it's getting that piece. And you can't figure it out. It's because you have this weird segment here. And it's still underdefined even though you've done all this. So like then you start adding relations, like let's say we make this one horizontal with it, or parallel with this one. They're both vertical, so there's nothing I can really add there. There's a lot of stuff like that. So one thing that's really important is just being tidy and concise with your sketch when you first start out. Sorry guys, I need to cough for a second. Hang on. All right, I'm fine. So it just becomes an issue of, a lot of it comes with experience and doing this a lot, and figuring out the tidiest, quickest, easiest ways to do things. A lot of it is just being really conscientious and taking your time and making sure that you do things right the first time. So does that kind of help a little bit? I don't know if that makes things easier, but yeah. Yeah. So we'll cover all of that, and getting things fully defined. I don't want to like add a layer of confusion before everybody's kind of caught up and on the same page. And we kind of have the getting sketches fully defined part all figured out and ironed out. And I think the thing too is before I start having you make assemblies and fully defining assemblies, I want to make sure that you all are able to consistently make fully defined sketches. And from what I'm seeing, from the assignments that you're turning in, a lot of them are not fully defined. And I want to really drive home that that's super important, that you're not going to get the right results if your sketch isn't fully defined. And when you go to do assemblies, if you don't have fully defined sketches, you're going to struggle with your assemblies because things aren't going to fit together the way you expect them to. So yeah, that's just really important. And I want to make sure that everybody kind of understands that. So Um, any questions regarding that? Any questions about getting things fully defined? I know there were a couple other people who had questions. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see actually if I can pull up a drawing of mine that's a little more complicated that I can use as an example. Let's go ahead and do this from a previous lecture that we did, because this has a couple of sketches in it, I think. So like, say I wanted to change, say I'm at this point, I have this whole part, and then I decide, oh, I want these holes to all be a little bit bigger. Um, so then I'd have to go into the sketch where I made those holes. I'm going to first go normal to, and then I'm just going to go in and edit the sketch, and you can do this at any point. You can go in and edit the sketch, and you can change this dimension. So I could say I want to make these 0.75, and then I'm going to exit the sketch, and it's going to change my whole drawing, and they're all going to be 0.75. So at any point you can go back and change a previous sketch. All you have to do is go click on that sketch, go edit sketch, and you'll be in there and you can change whatever you want. Um, so, say I wanted to add a feature to this sketch, say I wanted like another hole in this part. Um, let's see, I guess I didn't make, oh, I did make the holes on this sketch, so say I wanted to do another one in the middle here. And then, let's see, I'll just make that one equal to the other two. Mm. Oh, I've got to add a relation. Okay. So yeah, if I just make them all equal and then I exit that sketch when I go out, and there's going to be a hole there in the middle. Um, so does that answer your question kind of? Yeah. Yeah, so if you have a bunch of different sketches, it never hurts to go like click on it, edit sketch, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's not the sketch that I wanted. You can always just exit and then try a different one. Go here, go like normal to this sketch. Yeah, and then you can see what that one is, and you can say, okay, yeah, this is the one I wanted to edit, and do whatever you need to do in there. Um, so, so yeah, you can play around with that all day, and then like, I just made these changes to this. And I'm like, oh shoot, I don't want to keep any of those changes, but I can't remember where I did them. I just save and I don't close, or I close and don't save. Um, but like, I can also go back. I can say, uh, edit this sketch. What did I do here? I added that extra hole. So I'm getting a normal to it. It's always way easier to see what you're doing too if you just do this normal to thing. Um, I'm just going to click that circle and I'm going to hit the delete key and then exit. Okay, now it's gone. So, and then this was 0.5. So, yeah, does that help? So say I'm like looking at it over here and I want to edit this sketch. So this is the sketch with the two rectangles on top. see how they're like all cattywampus here and you can't really see what's going on. So you can drag it around and try and get it head on. But if you don't want to do that, you just go normal to, and it zooms right to it for you. Um, the other thing too that's helpful is once you've finished your whole part, you've exited all your sketches, you're looking at it, and you see, oh, this sketch has a minus sign next to it. That means that sketch isn't fully defined. So you go edit sketch, and you can look at it and you can say, all right, so it's telling me that this one is underdefined. What's underdefined in here? Obviously, it's not here, but just as an example, if it did say that, you would be like, okay, what's underdefined in here, and you can go to that sketch and you can check it out. So I recommend doing that too. When you finish a whole part, go ahead and go into your menu over here on the left and click these little down arrows and look at each sketch. Make sure it doesn't have a minus sign next to it. If it does, go ahead and go back into that sketch and see if you can figure out why it's underdefined. And that'll save you a lot of headaches down the road, because if you have it fully defined before you try to put it into an assembly, you're just going to be better off. Any other questions? All right. You guys want to do today's exercise? It's on it's going to be chapter 7. And we're going to do, let's see. This is the one I wanted. I think this is the one I wanted. Yeah. So chapter 7, it's page 7-24. It's the circular base mount. And it's this funny looking little round thing with little legs on the sides. So this is going to kind of cover doing revolved cuts, circular patterns, which we haven't gone over yet, dynamic mirroring, and revolving, like doing a revolved extruder base boss revolve. So it starts off really simple. Let's close this thing. I'm not going to save it. Close this. Nope. Alright. So new part. And we're going to do, from the front plane, we're going to do a new sketch. And we're going to sketch that profile on 725. So. Oh. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I never look over at the side of my computer because I don't know. I just never look at it. But okay. So can everybody kind of see okay now? That's a little better. Not quite as in the way. I'll move myself if I need to. So we're gonna start with a center line actually, because we're gonna have to revolve this part around the center line. So that's gonna go straight through the origin. It's gonna be a vertical center line. Actually, let's make sure we're using the right units here. IPS. I always forget to do that right at the beginning. Don't be like me. Alright, go back into your sketch. So we're doing it in inches. And we've got our center line, so now we're just going to do a line, start at the origin. We're going to go up horizontally. And then we're going to do this kind of long arcy thing here. And then we're going to do arc thing here. And it's going to end up kind of level with the origin there at the bottom. And then a straight line back to the origin. Alright. Okay, we're going to add a couple of relations here. Make sure that this is, what's line 5? No, on that. Make sure that this is vertical. Okay, and then one more. We're going to make this second arc here tangent to this line. See how that changed it? Kind of it goes smoothly into that line. No, that's what you want. And then a couple of dimensions. So this line on the left is going to be 1.25 inches. And then that second arc looks like it's going to be 0.5 for the radius. And then this is a weird one. So you're going to hold the shift key down while you add this dimension. So you're going to click this left line here, or let's actually click the origin, and then we're going to click this arc over here. That's not quite what we wanted. So I want to click over here. There we go. And it should snap to the end there instead of going to the center of the arc. And we want that to be 2. So, does everyone have that? This top line here. This is actually an arc right here. And let's see. It's got a radius apparently of 5.125, but if you try to add that, it'll become over-defined. It's defined by the stuff around it, so I'll just make it driven. I got another cough coming, hang on. Alright, sorry about that. So that's a driven dimension, that's why it's gray like that. But yeah, this is just a very shallow arc right here. And then this line right here, this is that center line that we did at the beginning. It goes right through, all the way through the origin here. You can make it as long or short as you want. It doesn't really matter because it's just a center line. So it's just for reference. Oh, there was one other thing. We're supposed to add a relation here. From the origin to this point, we want these to be vertical to each other. So that's actually pretty important. So you're going to add a relation, you're going to click the origin and this line, and you're going to add a vertical relation. Or sorry, this point down here. This point is actually the center point of this arc. If you think of this as a segment of a circle, this is its center point down here. Alright, does everyone have that so far? Anybody have questions? Yeah, no. Okay. One thing you can do if you do like a center point arc, so if you draw the rest of the shape and then you go like you click here, actually it's a center point arc, so you gotta click the center point first. So say you like click down here somewhere and then you click here and here to create the arc segment. I'm not gonna actually add it, but so here real quick, I'll do a little demonstration. This is another way to do it. And this isn't gonna be quite the shape because I'm not gonna dimension anything, but say you do a center point arc and you make the center point down here and you can add it so that that center point has already got that vertical relation to the origin, and then the 2 points on the arc that you're going to click are going to be here and here. For some reason it didn't want to put it there, but then we can add relations so we can make this point and this point. We can merge them, and then you've got that arc there. Does that help? Alright. I'm going to go to the next step if everybody's okay. So we're going to do a revolved boss slash base. It's in the features tab, that second one over. And the axis of revolution is going to be that center line, which in my drawing is line 1. It's the center line that we did at the beginning. The revolved direction is going to be blind, and it's going to be 360 degrees, so it's going to go all the way around. And then you just click OK. You're going to end up with this funny disc thing here. Alright, does everyone have that? Anyone still stuck or no? Alright, I'm going to take silence as affirmation. Let's go to step 3. So we're going to create a side tab here. We're eventually going to have these side tabs go all the way around, but we're just going to create one of them. So we're going to go back here. We're going to select the top plane, normal to, and then we're going to do a new sketch on the top plane. So then on the top of page 726 there, it says sketch the profile is shown. Their picture there is not incredible, but we're going to work with what we got. So there's going to be a center line that goes straight out to the right here. It's going to be horizontal. Let's go ahead and make sure that that has a horizontal relation. If not, we'll add it. It is horizontal already. Okay, cool. So then we're going to do, let's see. We're going to do an arc. Let's just do a center point arc again here. And it's going to coincide with this circle right here. So we're going to do a center point arc, and the center is coincident with the origin, so we're going to click the origin first. And then we're going to do our center point arc right here. And we're going to go like that. And then we have a little segment of arc there. We're going to dimension it. It's going to be 1.5. Okay, it's not going to let me do that actually, so. Why isn't it letting me do that? Let's try a different kind of arc here because that one isn't working. It's been a while since I did this exercise. So let's go ahead and just do a regular tangent arc. Nope. Okay, let's do that part after. I think this is the way to do it. So we're going to start a line here. Not like that. We're going to do a line. It's going to end up on this circle, but it's going to be a horizontal line. So let's make that, yeah, that's horizontal. Okay. Is someone saying something? Michelle, I can't hear you. You're super quiet. You there? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going, I guess. Michelle, if you have a question, you can also maybe type it in the chat. I can't hear you at all for some reason. So let's go with this. And then we're just going to mirror this around to the other side of that line. Okay. Okay. Never mind. I'm going to move this. That's not working for me either. Alright. Actually, you know what I think is the way to do this? Let's just draw a circle. Let's make it the same as this circle here. Let's dimension it. So the radius is going to be 1.5. So let's see. So the diameter would be 3 then. So let's do that. And let's drag the end of this line. Actually, never mind. Let's just do a new line here. Okay. Alright, is everyone kind of with me? Is this kind of as annoying for you as it is for me? It's It's kind of not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but this is going to be radius 0.25. Alright, so this one's going to be 0.575. And then we're going to mirror this, this, and this. We're going to mirror them around that center line. I'm going to click OK. We still have some work to do on this, obviously. It doesn't look quite like the drawing. But I'm going to first trim this circle so that we just have that piece we wanted at the beginning. Alright, and then we have a few more dimensions to add. So this is going to be 0.5. Let's actually delete this. And let's do a circle here. Yeah, okay. Cool. Alright. So then we're going to add a relation. And then that arc and this point are going to be coincident. And our arc and this point down here are going to be coincident. Alright, and then we're going to trim again. We're going to get rid of this segment of this circle. I'm going to get rid of this segment here so that it's a closed shape. And it looks more like the drawing. And then a couple more dimensions. So from the center point, or from our origin here to the center of that circle, we want 2.5. And we want the radius of that circle to be 0.575. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to add a couple of relations here to fix these arcs how we want them. So we're going to make it tangent. Oh, we don't want that face. And so we're going to click this line here and this arc, and those are going to be tangent. And then that arc and our circle are also going to be tangent. And then the other side is mirrored, so that should fully define that sketch. Is everyone there?
So take this mirror, when you do one side or mirror the other one, you have to do it for it, even if you do initial mirroring.
Correct, yeah. So if you initially made this by mirroring, then any changes you make to the original side will be, it'll continue to be mirrored on the other side. Alright, so I know that was a little confusing. I kind of had to figure it out as I went. So if anybody is having trouble with this sketch here, let me know. The book doesn't give super good instructions on how to do this one, um, which, I mean, hopefully we can still figure things out even if we don't have good instructions. That's kind of the idea, I guess. Um, but uh, yeah, if you're having trouble with this one, let me know. And since it's on the front plane, was that on the front plane? I think it was. No, it was on the top plane. So since this is on the top plane, when you turn this on its side, it should be coming off of the bottom of this disc. So when you go to your, uh, like, look at your first sketch here, it should be kind of coming off the bottom. So let's try going to sketch one. Yeah, it should be sticking out to the right here, like so. Is everyone's sketch 2 oriented that way, or did that work for everyone? If you did the first steps, if you did the first sketch and then the revolve correctly, it should end up like that. So, alright. If everybody's got that, does anyone not have that? Is anyone not with me?
The lines and the arcs leading to my circle are underdefined. I don't know.
Um, oops, wrong. Sorry. The which lines are underdefined? You said
Yeah, the lines and the two arcs that we just mirrored
this.
into the circle.
Okay, so these two segments here. Those are underdefined. So, make sure that you have. Make sure these lines are defined as horizontal. So if you click on one of them and go add relation, you should see in this existing relations, you should see horizontal. It should also be tangent to this first arc. Do you have both of those relations?
I do now.
Cool. Did that fix it?
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, a lot of the time, uh, if something is underdefined and you can't figure out why, and you're like, what's missing? These have dimensions, right? Um, a lot of the time it's just something that might seem obvious. Like these lines look horizontal, right? Like you wouldn't think necessarily, oh, I got to make sure that they actually are, but like 99% of the time, especially like in assignments that I'm looking at, even in my own stuff, if I can't figure out why something is underdefined, it usually ends up being something really simple and obvious like that. Like, hey, this line is looks horizontal, but you got to make it horizontal. Otherwise, it's going to continue to be underdefined. So, just a little tip there. All right, so if everybody's uh, caught up to this point, let's go ahead and go to step 4, extruding the side tab. So we're going to go over to features, extruded boss base. From sketch plane, the direction is going to be up to surface. And the surface is going to be face 1, which is going to be this face up here. And that's going to cause this to it's going to extrude in line with that face because that face was curved, remember? So this is kind of cool. It just continues that arc. So we're going to click face 1 and we're going to hit OK. And then this is going to be extruded up to that top face. Does everyone have that? Alright. So we're going to go ahead and go to step 5, unless anyone's having trouble. Alright. So step 5 is going to be adding a counter bore hole in that tab that we just did. So we're going to sketch on the front plane. We're going to sketch the profile of the counter bore. Let's also go to the front plane so we can see what we're doing. And you'll see in the middle of page 5 there, it shows the outline of the sketch they want on that side face. So let's go ahead. It's just a couple of lines. The tricky part is we gotta start it at the bottom of this this shape here. So we want to start it at this midpoint. Does everybody see that little yellow dot there? That's the midpoint of that circle that we did. And we're gonna start there. We're gonna go back a little bit. Or I guess left, up, left, and then we're just going to go just above the face of that tab that we made. And we're going to go over to the right. And let's see, I think we want to be right above where we started, because then we're going to go straight down and close our shape here. So, and then we do also want a center line going through that center point there, because that's what we're going to revolve this around to make a counterboard hole. So, let's see, let's zoom in here. Let's make sure that we have a, excuse me, jeez, got coughs just trying to escape. Let's try and make sure I'm not seeing my center point now. Okay, that is going to a midpoint. Looks like it's in the middle of that circle. I think we're good there. So let's go back to our sketch so we can see what we're doing again. And so we're just going to go ahead and add these dimensions. So this is going to be 0.5. And then these are what they're calling virtual diameters. These dimensions that are kind of measuring the horizontal distance. If you look at those, you can see that it's not measuring the length of this line, it's measuring twice the length of this line, because it's showing like here through the center point to here. There's kind of specific certain applications where you want to use that, but yeah, it's kind of an odd thing to do. The way to do it is, let's see, I think I think I remember how to do this. So you click the center line, and then you click this line, and then you hover over, okay, yeah. And then it'll show you that, like, double distance there. So that's going to be 0.625. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So again, we're going to click the center line. Let's click it up here because I can't see it down there. And then we're going to click this line. And see how if your mouse is in between the 2 points you clicked, it's just going to show this distance. But if you move it over here to the right, it's going to give you that virtual diameter thing. So that's going to be 0.375. Does everyone have that? Alright. And then one more from top to bottom. It's going to be 0.8. And that should be fully defined. Alright. Does everyone have this sketch 3? Everyone's still with me? Alright. So we're going to go ahead and proceed. We're going to make our counter bore here. So we're going to do revolved cut, which is right here. It's going to be, direction is going to be blind, angle is 360, and we're going to click OK. And then you'll have a counter bore hole there. Does everyone see that?
One more time on that one, please.
Okay. So is everyone, are you here on this sketch here? Have you got this so far? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, oops, let's go back into sketch 3. So, we've got sketch 3 here. We're going to go to features. Let's escape. I'm just going to undo that. So I can show you again. Alright, so we're going to go sketch 3. Revolved cut right here. So it's just to the right of extruded cut. And then the axis of revolution is going to be that center line that we did at the beginning. Hang on, sorry. Alright. The axis of revolution is going to be the center line right here. The direction is going to be blind. And then the degrees is going to be 360 degrees. And then just click OK. And you'll have your hole there. Okay, so now we're going to do, this is the kind of fun part, creating the circular pattern. So we're going to go, you should have linear pattern right here next to the fillet. So instead of linear pattern, you're going to click the little down arrow. You're going to see, oops, I clicked linear pattern. You're going to click the little down arrow. You're going to see circular pattern right here below it. So we want that. We're going to do circular pattern. And then we're just going to follow what they're telling us to do here in the book. So parameters, the, let's see. Why does mine look different? Alright. So it says click view. I'm not seeing that. I feel like I have the wrong thing here. Alright, if anybody else is seeing what I'm not seeing here, let me know. I think we want, I'm not sure what this direction 1 is here, but I know we want, for how many we want 6. We want 360 degrees, we want equal spacing. And then for features and faces, we want cut revolve 1, and we also want extrude 1. So that's this guy. Alright, and then we need to, for the axis of revolution, we want that center line that was in the middle of our part here, which is going to be in sketch 1. See if I can get it to show up so I can actually click on it. It shows up when I hover over sketch 1. Show, okay. So we want that center line. I'm not sure why I'm not able to click it. Oh, I think it's because there we go. Okay, so in direction, you want to click that center line there. If you're not seeing it, so for direction 1, that first spot, go to revolve 1, go to sketch 1, and then click show here. If it's not showing, you should be able to see the center line, and you're going to click that. So, and then spacing is equal, 360 degrees. We want 6 little tabs, so we're going to have 6 in this field here. And then everything else should be good. And click OK. And now you'll have 6 little tabs on your shape here. Did everyone get that? Is everyone following that? Anyone not following? Okay. I will, again, take that as affirmation that you're all with me. So, next, we're going to create a new plane, which I don't think we've done this before. So you have your front plane, top plane, and right plane by default, right? But something cool that you can do is actually create another plane. You can put it wherever you want, which is kind of cool. It can be raised off of a plane that you already have. You can make a plane that's like 2 inches from the top plane, but it's parallel to it, or whatever you want to do. This is going to be an offset plane, so we're going to go reference geometry, and we're going to click plane. So in features, over on the far right here, almost at the end, reference geometry. The first reference is going to be, let's see, the top plane is what they want us to use. It's going to be parallel, and actually it's not going to be parallel. They want us to use the offset distance. I guess, I'm not sure. I think parallel would mean it's like on the same plane, which would be kind of pointless. So the distance is going to be 1.3 inches. And it should look like this. It should be kind of floating above your part there. And let's see. We don't want to do anything else. We don't need any other references. So we'll click OK. So you want top plane, you want offset distance right here. You're going to put in 1.3 inches. That's all you got to do. Then click OK. And then let's go to this plane. So we're looking at it from the top down. And we're going to create a new sketch in that plane. So let's go ahead and sketch. And we're going to use dynamic mirroring. So where was dynamic mirroring? I think we had to go to tools, sketch tools. Yeah, because I don't have it in my menu already. You could add it to your menu if you use it a lot. I don't really like to mess with what I've got up there because I already know where everything is. So I'm just gonna select dynamic mirror here. So it's in, if anybody didn't follow that, it's in tools up at the top, and then sketch tools right here, and then it's about halfway down. Alright, so we are doing dynamic mirroring now, so we're gonna go ahead and start sketching. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna turn the lights on in here real quick. It's getting kind of dim. 1 second, guys. Alright. They're on a timer, so hopefully they stay on for a little while, but um so now we're gonna start step 9. Okay. So top of page 729. And so we did the dynamic mirroring. We're gonna create that little sketch in there. So we're gonna go ahead and just let's see. Let's go ahead and do this, and then let's do an arc. Oops. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a relation. There we go. It's not actually mirroring it. Did I? I thought I selected it. But oh, you know why? Because I had to select what I'm mirroring around here. Oops. let's start over there. So we need a center line first of all. Getting ahead of myself. Um, let's see. So they want us to do a center line from the origin. They want us to go horizontally, and then they also want us to do a, oops, they also want us to do a vertical one. And there's one in between here too. Alright. So let's go back. Tools, sketch tools, dynamic mirror, and select the line we want to mirror about, which is going to be one of our center lines. So we're going to start with this one here, this horizontal one that goes out to the right here. We're going to go ahead and start sketching. So we're going to do this line right here, and then we're going to do this arc that goes to here, and when it meets up with that center line, it's going to mirror it for you, so you'll have this shape. And then we want to also curve those corners there, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And those radiuses are 0.063. 0.063. Okay. It should still be mirroring, but it didn't put it on this corner. Alright. Well, we've got that one. So, then we're going to add a couple dimensions. So, this radius is 1.5. 1.5. The center point of that arc, I think, should be coincident with the center. So let's see where that is. That arc, and maybe this should be concentric. Okay, that worked kind of. I think it does the same thing if it's concentric. It's got the same center point. So we're good there. Add another relation. So we want this line and this line to be parallel. We do not want them on top of each other though. We can fix that in a second. Maybe that's not what we wanted. We want a dimension here. So we want the center line to this edge. We want the angle to be 30 degrees. Okay. And then from this line to this line, we actually want a little gap. That's not going to do what we want it to do there. What if we try and... It says it's fully defined, so I think we need to check out our relations here. I think we need to delete that parallel. Okay. Maybe we also need to get rid of that concentric. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Excuse me. So, yeah, I think we actually don't want that to be concentric. So this is one of those exercises I probably should have gone through again before, like right before class, but I thought I remembered everything. So, alright, so we're gonna make these guys, no, we don't want an angle. We want them to be parallel, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Hopefully it works this time. It's kind of forcing them to be collinear though, which we don't want. So, oops. Alright, well, there's a couple more dimensions we can add anyway, so this is going to be 60 degrees. And again, it says it's fully defined, so I'm not sure where it's getting that, but I think we've got some relations still that we don't want. Let's take this one. Just delete that radius for now. I don't know what that coincident is there, but okay. Alright. Well, I'm kind of stuck on this sketch here. So, instead of sitting here trying to figure it out with you guys all watching me, because this is kind of silly, we're just gonna go ahead and pretend that this is good. So I'll try and figure this out later. Oops. But we're just gonna try and get it fully defined for now. So we can go ahead and do the mirroring. I think this was 1.5. And then, yeah, I'll figure out what's going on here later, and I'll give you guys an update on how to make this work. But really, it's just sketching and trying to get it to be the right shape. So it's nothing new that we need to cover right this minute. Um, Alright, so that's 30 degrees. Let's actually delete this. I feel like I'm just really close to having it is all, and it's like annoying me because I feel like I should be able to get it. Okay, so basically what they want us to do here with this sketch is they want us to make a circular pattern. So, we have these center lines that we made at the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and use the circular sketch pattern. So under linear sketch pattern, you're going to click that little down arrow and you'll see circular sketch pattern right there. So you want it to be around this axis here. If it'll let you do that. I think again you gotta go back into that sketch and you gotta go around that axis. Not gonna work for me. Maybe if I use the origin. Okay, that's gonna work, I think. And then we want 6 instances. So right here, we're gonna go to 6 equal spacing 360 degrees, and we're gonna click OK. And it doesn't look like it worked. I think it's because I got this wrong. So, okay. Excuse me. Man, I'm ready to not be hacking up along all the time here. So we gotta select the entities that we want. That's why it didn't work the first time. So each piece of that shape you made, we want 6 instances. It's not going to look like it's supposed to because I couldn't get my sketch exactly right, so there should be little gaps in between them. But we're going to click OK. So now we have 6 of this little pocket shape here that we're supposed to have. So that's how you do a circular sketch pattern. And it'll be floating above your shape like this. Alright. So, sorry guys, I'm really a mess today. And then I think the next thing we want to do is an extruded cut. So we're going to do the extruded cut. Direction is going to be offset from surface. And then depth, sorry, I think we need to select the surface. We're going to select the bottom surface to offset from. Oh boy. So you gotta click the bottom surface of this sketch. So, does everyone see that? The bottom face of our part there. And then the depth is going to be 0.125. And I think that's everything. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. Alright, and my sketch has intersecting contours because they're all touching. So I can't actually do that. But if we have them sketched correctly, which I am not 100% with it right now, so I'm not able to do that. Oh, good gravy. I'm just going to delete these for a second so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. And I deleted my center lines too, so now it's confused on me. Alright. Okay, so this is what we want. We want it to be able to back up a little bit like this. It's underdefined now, but let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I couldn't seem to get it to do that before because it was like, oops, it was on top of that line. Now it's just all messed up. So I'm not sure why I'm having that problem. Oops. Got these extra lines here. So, yeah. I'll try and add a dimension here. Oops. Not what I want. I'm going to make it 0.045. Now it's overdefined, but let's see if we can. Oh, there go my lights. Let me go turn those back on real quick. I think I'm the only person here tonight, so okay. Yeah, and I can't figure out how to. That light is just a button. Like, there's no way to change the timer. So, all right. I think I have a relation somewhere that's like making it so that these lines point to the center point, which is kind of frustrating because I can't seem to find it. If I could like just mess with this all day, then it'd be fine, but obviously since I'm wasting you guys' time too. Let's see. Let me delete this. Alright. Alright, let's go ahead. I'm gonna leave this underdefined for now. Cardinal sin, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So we're gonna do circular sketch pattern. And we're gonna do these guys. And we're gonna make 6 of them. We're gonna click OK. Alright, that kind of looks like what's in the book. Not really, but kind of. So we're just gonna go with it. And then we're gonna go to our extruded cut here. And go up from surface, or offset from surface. And that surface is the bottom of our part here, face 1. The distance is 0.125. 0.125. Shoot, and I'm still having problems. You guys probably know how I feel, so. I have an open contour somewhere, so basically that means that like a shape isn't closed, or I have an extra little line or something or other somewhere in here. It says it's fully defined, which is nice, but that doesn't help me much. So anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip ahead here because that's basically all there is to this exercise. You guys kind of get the idea. If I could get that sketch to work, then we would have these pockets in this shape. So if you want, go ahead and play around with it on your own. See if you can get it to work. Get it to look like it's supposed to. The final step here is just adding some fillets to the edges. So we'll just go ahead and do that real quick, because why not? So that's on page 7-30. And it looks like there's several different fillets they want us to add. So the 0.0625 inch ones, we want to select these top and bottom edges here on all 6 little tabs. It's going to be 12 edges total. We don't want a face. So make sure you're also, when you do this, watching what shows up in this box over here on the left, because I would have just kept going. I thought I selected that edge, but it looked like I clicked on a face by mistake. So that's always it's an easy mistake to miss. Oops, I don't want that inside edge either, so I'm gonna delete that. Okay. Alright, so we should have 8 so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. And then for the radius, it's going to be 0.0625. Alright, sorry guys. And then click OK. And there's a few more. We can go through and add them all, I guess. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Or concerns, or... Is anyone completely lost? All right. Well, um, all right. So this is basically again how to do circular patterns in your sketches and the circular pattern feature, which is here under linear pattern, you can do a circular pattern. So the key takeaways here, I guess, are in order to make a circular pattern, first you have to have a feature that you want to revolve around an axis, and then you have to have an axis to revolve it around. So, like, one second. Good gravy, sorry guys. So you have to have an axis to revolve your features around. So this center line here was our axis for these tabs. Um, and then of course those those center lines that we made were the axis for these these little cutouts that didn't work. Um, sorry, my my throat is just destroyed right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, uh goodness. All right. I'm fine. I'm not going to die. So that was the I guess the key lesson for today. So I encourage you all to play with that over the upcoming week. And then real quick, I want to go over some midterm stuff. So we have these parts here. This is one of the ones that's going to be on the midterm. So I'm kind of giving you guys a preview. But there's a couple of features here. You're gonna need to do so you've got this pyramid shape. Why my brain isn't working either. Nothing is working. You're gonna do that angled extrude that we talked about briefly last week. So when you go extrude the draft angle in order to create that pyramid. And then you can use the revolve feature for this. It's obviously 4 little arc things here. So you can revolve your features here, like so you can make 4 of them. Not revolve. What am I? Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm a real mess. Doing my best, guys. The circular pattern that we went over today. So you can do a circular pattern with just 4 of this feature. So that's one of the pieces of the midterm. And the other 3 you'll just have to wait and see on whatever day you choose to do the midterm. I'm going to go ahead and actually, oops, why am I clicking the wrong thing here? I'm going to go ahead and publish that. So let's go in here. Midterm. Alright, so I'll show you real quick. So you've got your 4 parts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're PDFs. And so the first question is going to be model the part. It's in millimeters. You're going to assign its material as brass. evaluate the mass properties, and enter the mass as your answer below. So you're going to enter the mass that you get right here. So just as a reminder, if you go in here, you go evaluate mass properties up here. Shoot, I got this mess of a drawing here. But you'll go in here, you'll see mass. You've got 0.55 pounds. Obviously, that's going to change depending on the material that it was modeled in. So you're going to go here, material not specified. Click that. Right click, edit material, and you're going to make it brass. So under copper alloys, you have brass. Apply and close. Mass properties. Now you'll see that it's 4.7 pounds because the density of brass, I guess, is much higher than whatever it was before. Unspecified material. So you got to make sure you've got the right material. And then you're going to put in the mass right here. And it'll just be a number. As long as you're within like a reasonable amount. So like say it's 4.7 pounds. If you put in 4.72, I'm going to mark it correct. That's fine. Like as long as it's really close, just put in exactly what you have there. And there's always, I mean, there's the possibility of slight variation, but excuse me. So let's close that. Any questions? I'm sorry? Okay. So then the second part for each of these is going to be upload the part file. So you've got 4 parts. So you're going to put in the, they're all going to be brass. You're going to put in the mass properties for each one. Or you're going to put in the mass for each one. And then you're going to upload the part file for each one. That's the whole thing. So I'll go ahead and publish that. Let's see. First, I'm going to do a couple edits here. So we'll make it due next Monday by midnight. Where do I put a time limit? Oh, okay, thank you. Why am I not seeing that? Oh, time limit. I see. Okay. Let's see. What's 24 hours? How many minutes is that? 60 times 24. Get my calculator out here. Cool. Thanks. 1440. Alright. So you're going to have 24 hours from when you start to complete the midterm. So if at any point during that time you have a question for me, just shoot me a message on Discord. If you send me an email, it's claire.campbell@cptc.edu. I'll probably see that pretty quick too. And Yeah. So yeah, if you have questions, I mean, I'm not gonna give away the answers. At this point, you're on your own now. You're not on your own. But if you have technical issues or anything like that, like just shoot me a message and I'll do my best to help you out, whatever it is. I'm going to save and publish this, and I recommend starting it, at a reasonable hour. If you send me a message at like 2 a.m., I probably won't see it. Sometimes I stay up that late, but not usually. Um, so that I think that covers everything. Any more questions? Okay, yeah, yeah, no worries. Is there anything I missed? Does anybody need help with anything else before we go, or who's laughing at me? All right. Uh, Virgil, let's just go ahead and hop over to my conference room then. I'm gonna go ahead and end my stream here. This is an embarrassing video that I'm gonna immediately post on the internet for all the world to see. All right.